Greetings, fellow members of the Esoteric Order of Gamers. It's a very exciting day today because I have Atlantis Rising before me and I'm going to unbox it here for you. This is the Kickstarter edition, and I may have told you several times in the past that I actually did the graphic design for this game. In fact, down here you'll see graphics, Peter Gifford. That's me! Yay! I spent I didn't spend 18 months on this, but I worked on this over 18 months. It took quite a long time to do, and there was a lot of work involved. And of course, I had the honour of working with the fantastic illustrator, Vincent Dutray. This is his beautiful work, and throughout the game, he shows off his fantastic skills. Very great illustrator, doing wonderful work in the board game industry at the moment. So it was fun working with him, and also with Brent Dickman of Elf Creek Games, who was fantastic and was very determined to get a really quality product. So this is the final thing. Here's the back of the box. It's looking good. Let's open it up. Now, a lot of people, of course, already have their copies. It took me a little while to get mine due to some distribution issue, but it's great to finally have it. I've got number 715 out of 2,300 of the Kickstarter edition. So, how exciting. It's really nice. One of the great things, actually, to tell you, one of the great things about being a graphic designer is I do a lot of work which is quite ephemeral, which is things like websites. And even when you're doing branding for a company, it may only last a few years. But something about doing a board game is really satisfying because you get this thing that you can actually hold in your hands. It's an actual solid thing, and that doesn't always happen a lot. So it's very satisfying doing board game work. For example, Tales of the Arabian Nights, which I did many, many years ago, is still being enjoyed by people all over the world, and that gives me a lot of satisfaction. So here's our rulebook. There we go. Oh, yes, look, you know, it's hard to do a bad job when you've got such beautiful illustrations, but this looks really good. It's come out nicely. There we go. Now, I really focused on this lovely typography of this particular font, and because, you know, it's kind of challenging to come up with something which had that sort of ancient feel but wasn't typical ancient, something a bit unusual. So obviously these columns were kind of influenced by Minoan architecture. That looks good. Great. Rulebook. Fantastic. We did several versions of the logo, of course. This was the one that Elf Creek Games liked the most. Now, oh look, a nice cover there. And here's this fantastic board. Look at this. It's made up of two pieces. And I can't tell you the number of technical fiddling about that was involved in getting this to work properly. It's surprisingly difficult to get something like this to work really well, because these components, which are these little pieces here, had to fit in there perfectly, and look, they do, just perfectly. And that went through quite a few iterations to get that to work nicely. So there's that board, little advertisement there. We've got the Wrath of the Gods track. And in this design, I was really playing around with large pieces of type as a sort of background element. So using the actual shapes of the typography as a graphic design element. So that looks good. Here's all our character sheets, and I'm really happy to see these are all good, solid card. They're just lovely, and look, double-sided. And isn't it great? Look, separate illustrations, male and female, for each of the characters, which is just wonderful. And also you've got a really nice range of different types, ethnic types, even different ages. I think that's really laudable that Elf Creek Games set out to do that. And there's a bit of something for everybody there, which is just great. And beautiful illustrations. Look at that. These came out very nicely indeed. I'm very happy with that. They look great. I do like a character card or a player card that's actually on thick card. I just think that's great. There's been a fashion for doing really thin ones, which I think are flimsy and I don't like. So look at all these bits. This is the Kickstarter edition, so we've got all these extras. We've got some fancy looking dice. Let's see these. Wow, and look at those. There's some really meaty looking dice. That looks great. Really nice insert. Everything's just fitting in there, and you've got spaces for your fingers, which is really important. Real attention to detail. These are our component pieces. They look great. Now, obviously, Vincent gave me these illustrations here, and then I did some graphic design jiggery-pokery on them to give you these sort of sketch versions. They look great. And I can see there's been a gloss varnish just on the shape of the illustration too, which is a lovely touch. Oh, there's some counters hiding down in here. These are mystic barriers, I believe. Lovely glossy tokens. And that's the Wrath of the Gods track token. Some really nice cards here. We've got our Misfortune cards. And this is where the design sort of came together for me, really. Vincent gave me this lovely background illustration, which is great. I put the name of the card in the middle, and then I was using the, as I said, the large shapes of the font as a sort of background pattern, and it just came together, what I thought, in quite a really nice way. And I've used that style throughout. You can see there are shapes of the typography behind there. It's quite subtle, but I just think it gives it a bit of interest. Here's some more Misfortune cards. This is the main deck. They were just extras. Again, you can see the letter forms behind there. They came out very well. Lovely illustrations. A few more Misfortune cards, and then the library cards. It's really good to see a design so well printed. Sometimes when you're doing graphic design, because you're not actually there when things are coming off the press, you don't have a whole lot of control over the end quality of the print job. But obviously, we've done a beautiful job here. Everything looks great, and the components are good quality as well. I mean, choosing the paper that is used, the varnishing, all those little choices really make a difference and lift the design to make it even more beautiful. Look at the colours in that. That looks great. Now, in here we have all the little pieces of the map. And again, this was a real technical challenge. There's heaps and heaps of them. Vincent's beautiful map artwork all broken up, and of course I had to add all the icons and bits and pieces. They're double-sided. Just an amazing amount of work there really by Vincent creating that map. Just beautiful. And yeah, that took a lot of effort, but I think the result is pretty stunning. I'm really looking forward to actually putting this together as a piece. It's like a big jigsaw. Some more bits in there. These are some special components which are specific to some of the characters. They're great. There's the centerpiece. That's Atlantis itself, and Under the Waves. And here we've got, of course, the power core, which you're trying to build to escape to safety. First player marker. Here we've got the hologram cards, which is a special extra. And this is me just doing a little bit of a treatment on Vincent's character illustrations to make them look a bit projected. And of course in here we've got the hologram marker itself, which is a pretty cool thing. I don't know how they did that, but look at that. That is just beautiful. Magical little piece. And we've got one, this is an extra piece as well. I forget what this is for. It's sort of remote piece of some sort. And that's got a lovely sort of silver treatment. Wonderful meeples. These are some clear stands for the mystic barriers. Wow, and there's all kinds of stunning pieces here. There's some clear counters. Some amazing sort of metallic pieces with a sort of rainbow texture to them. Look at that. They're quite hefty too. These are some lovely crystal pieces. Some lovely chunky gold bits. We've got some meteoric ore. Look at that. Great resources. And here are your meeples. You've got leaders and followers and markers all in different colours. And the great thing is the meeples are actually different shapes as well. So each player colour has actually got its own distinctive meeple shape. Another wonderful bit of attention to detail. Finally, a big chunky wooden first player marker and some other special wooden pieces as well. That's a Wrath of the Gods marker. I forget what this is for, but it's a ship. Some lovely extra bits. And of course, on the inside of the box, you can see all the names of the people who supported the Kickstarter campaign. Immortalised forever. Well, there you go, folks. Atlantis Rising. And I must say, I haven't been as proud of a job as this one since Tales of the Arabian Nights. It's really been an exceptional experience working with such a talented illustrator and such an excellent client. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Elf Creek Games does in the future, because I think they've caused a bit of a stir with such a beautiful production, Atlantis Rising. And I'm really looking forward to playing it, because quite apart from all the wonderful bits and the production and all the work that went into it, it's apparently a very, very fun game as well. It's got great reviews, and I'm really looking forward to getting this one to the table. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed this little look into Atlantis Rising and a little bit of the process behind the graphic design. That's the Esoteric Order of Gamers, orderofgamers.com, as usual, on social media and Patreon and all the other stuff that you can find links to below in the show notes. Thanks very much for watching. I will see you next time. Whoops, just a minute. I forgot to show you this lovely mouse mat that came as part of the Kickstarter campaign. It's really thick. It's got a lovely sealed edge. And of course, it's got fantastic artwork all over it. And that is Sunken Atlantis. And you can put those different tiles of the island of Atlantis on top of that. And as they sink, you can take them off. It's a beautiful thing. I'm really going to enjoy playing the game on this mouse mat. It feels great. So that's it. Atlantis Rising. Beautiful stuff. A great production. Very proud to be part of it. Nice work. Elf Creek Games.